And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new edition of Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day here on G-Show Productions. I'm your host for this pregame show, Graham the G-Show Forsyth. I'll also be your commentator for tonight's matchup here. Our first broadcast from Eric Coy of the season between the, as you can see, Charleswood Hawks and the River East Royal Knights. Puck is going to be dropping here at 7:30 p.m. Coming up shortly here as the Zamboni has just made his way onto the ice. The Zamboni driver, that is. But yeah, both of these teams coming into tonight on mmjhl Game Day, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico, Goaltenders, and Make Cannon Fasters and Tools. Both are two of three remaining undefeated teams at this point in the young MMJHL regular season. If we look at the results from last night, Memphis Riels ended up remaining perfect with a 4-1 victory over the Stonewall Jets. For the St. Vital Junior Victorias, they get back into the win column with a close win over the Raiders Junior Hockey Club by a score of 5-4, a game that we called on the network last night. And here's what the standings look like. As mentioned, both of these teams are two of three remaining undefeated teams in this early season. And for both of them, very convincing wins last week. Of course, Charleswood starting off, as we get to it now, with a 5-0 win against the St. James Junior Canucks last Friday night in the season opener, as St. James hung a third banner in a row for a third consecutive year. It was the Hawks who came in and spoiled the party, of course, as mentioned, winning 5-0 against the defending champion Canucks. They only have allowed one goal through 2 games against, as they beat the Fort Garry Twins last Sunday on the road at Century 3-1. And this team, when talking to their coaching staff and their front office, it's all about speed, and the need for speed, I thought it was only fitting to put it in there, because we should be expecting a Hawks team that's going to play with a lot of pace tonight, a team that wants to get on the attack and aggressive early and continue that throughout games. As for the River East Royal Knights, well, they're coming off a back-to-back convincing wins on opening weekend, a 6-2 victory over the River East Royal Knights, and then a 5-3 victory over the St. Vital Junior Victorias. They got the best goals for average out of any team in the league through 2 games with 11, and for this team, it's all about proving teams wrong, right? I had a chance to speak with Tyler Rubini on the network for episode 3 of the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League podcast, and I asked him leading up to this game, what the mentality was going to be, that type of stuff, and he said, we can't take this River East team lightly, and any team you take lightly in this league, it's pretty much going to cost you. And speaking to Mark Taraschuk, the assistant coach of the Victorias, last night on the MMJHL podcast, he said, the Vics might have taken River East a bit too lightly. So this is a team that's looking to prove their competition wrong every game of the season this year, and I think they wouldn't mind teams taking them lightly, as they could look to take advantage there. This is a hard-working River East team that's very young. They only got 203s on the team, Manny Manouk Jr., as well as their team captain and Anthony Jacobs. So this is a huge year for this River East team, to build through their development, and if you can add some wins on top of that, that's all the better. But yeah, continuing to play hard, continuing to find consistency, I think that's what both of these teams are looking for here tonight, as well as for all the rest of the teams in the league, right? The rest of the 8. As for the rest of the schedule tonight, there's only 3 games that will be in action. 6 teams in total. St. Vital in Seven Oaks Sportsplex tonight to take on the Raiders Junior Hockey Club in a rematch and a back-to-back. The Raiders looking for their first win of the season tonight. Still searching for it, even though they've been close these past few games. Fort Garry and St. James both playing tonight, so one of these teams will come away with a victory. And as for the Hawks and Royal Knights, one of these teams will come away with their first loss of the season. We got some Saturday action happening in the league coming up at Morris Multiplex tomorrow as the Pembina Valley Twisters face off against the Transcon Rail Express, and then all 10 teams will be in the action this Sunday coming up. A game we'll be covering will be that Stonewall Jets game on Sunday afternoon, as the defending champs will be in the town of Stonewall. But as for, I guess, the players to watch heading into tonight's matchup, before we get into the more of the keys to the game, expanding on that, I think start off with the away side. Logan Ash for the River East Royal Knights is had quite the start to his mmjhl career, as we pull up the statistics now. But this is a guy that was huge for Charleswood in their victories last week. If you take a look at it, 5 points, one of the league leaders heading in to week 2. Of course, Ruben Netchwaduke and Peyton Bateman are all above him, but they've all had a chance to play some extra games already. And yeah, I mean, for Logan Ash, 5 points so far. I think another player to watch is going to be Anthony Jacob, the captain. We'll see how he sets the tone in this one. Assuming Manny Manouk Jr. is going to get the start. In net, he's one to watch too. He made some really acrobatic and impressive saves last season. And yeah, in terms of, other players to watch on this team, I haven't had a chance to get to watch many of these defensemen, so it's going to be entertaining to see how they look tonight. But we're talking about players like Graham Maslow, who's wearing a letter that has been here before, right? Liam Urcioli, who is, top 10 in points right now, 4 assists heading into tonight. So a lot to like in terms of some of the pieces that River East has up front, and a piece they have in net in Manouk. As for the Charleswood Hawks, this is a team that doesn't have a player like Rylan Hugan coming back, who, by the way, they trade him to the Fort Garry Twins on September 25th and get Cole Penner back, an 06 born player who's been fantastic to start off the season for this team. He's tied with Logan Ash in points with 5 in 3 games played so far. And then we're looking at speedsters like Matt Carlson, a good returning player, and Lucas Elliott. On the back end, there's a lot to like from Charleswood, too, when you're talking about players like Darian Shawn, who's wearing a letter, and Lucas Van Norman, who comes back in his final year, and he's wearing a C. And then you take a look at their goaltending. Keegan Gordon, with the best save percentage in the league right now, at .977. He most likely gets the start tonight. You'd have to think maybe they go with a guy in Jero Rossi, but from what I talked about with former head coach of the Hawks, and now he's an assistant general manager, and Will Kinsman on this year's staff, he said Gordon's going to get a lot of the workload to start off the season. So, depending on how good Charleswood starts off, this is a player that could also be racking up the wins too. But overall, a Charleswood team, you should expect for them to play with a lot of pace, a lot of speed tonight, for them to be aggressive. And I think for them, it's like any team coming in against the River East Royal Knights. Key to the game for them is you can't take your opponent lightly, because this is a team that's going to come in tonight probably fired up, looking to take down one of the championship favorites this season in the Charleswood Hawks. And if the Hawks come out a bit lax, it could spell some trouble for them. So I think getting off to a good start, getting to your game right away, and not taking these guys lightly is going to be huge. 14% around there on the power play. So that's definitely an area where this team will want to start to improve on here. And for the River East Royal Knights, they even though they scored a bunch of goals and have averaged 45 shots through 2 games, this is a team that is also looking to get their power play going tonight. 0% so far. Penalty kill over the mid 80%, but for River East, continue to play a hard style of hockey, a hard brand. Continue to work hard. Don't let up on the Charleswood Hawks. Don't give them space. And you're looking for, those new players coming in like Logan Ash, right? Like a player like, returning player in Liam Urcioli, for them to continue to make their marks, and for you to get the big saves from Manny Manuka Jr. or whoever may be in net, because we know for a fact, well, I feel pretty certain about this, that Charleswood is going to get some high danger scoring chances tonight, maybe a few of them, and how big of a backbone is Minnick Jr. going to be tonight for this Knights team when things may break down. It's going to be interesting for sure to see what happens tonight here from Charleswood. Their home rink at Iroquois, the Iroquois Arena here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. By the way, you may be wondering why it's a bit more quiet than usual here on stream. Well, that's for the simple fact that I'm in a booth tonight, so we're probably going to try to get a microphone phone of some sort that we can connect into our stream to, a wireless mic or something like that we can put in the stands, because I know this might sound a bit weird with not being able to hear as much of the crowd noise, which I always think that it gives some life to the broadcast, right? Hearing the reactions and stuff of what may happen, as best as the audio may come through. But yeah, for both of these teams, depending on how loud it gets in here tonight, we should be on tap for a pretty good crowd coming in. They'll be looking to lock in and block out the noises. One of these teams will be going home with a loss for the first time in their mmjhl regular season tonight. I mean, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. There's 42 games left for both of these teams after that, but I feel like the longer you can keep a winning streak going, I feel like that could build some good positive vibes before the season starts, or the season truly starts to get going, right? Of course, as it's already started. But as the Zamboni makes its final laps around the ice, we're at 7:35 right now, so this game is going to be starting a bit later. This has been our extended edition of our pregame show, taking that into account. I've been your host, Graham, the G Show Forsyth. Looks like we're going to get someone skating around with the team before the game, too. A kid bringing the flag on for Charleswood, so I think that's going to be pretty cool. Maybe you'll get to see that coming up if our camera can catch it. But this is mmjhl game day, the battle of the early season undefeateds. The Charleswood Hawks and River East Royal Knights almost set to do battle here. Zamboni makes his way off to the ice. We're going to conclude our pregame show, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico, Goaltenders, and Make Canada Fasteners and Tools. We'll be back soon, folks. Enjoy the game, and thank you for choosing G Show Productions on gshow.ca for watching tonight's Tilt from Iroquois, your home of mmjhl hockey here in 2024-2025. Enjoy the game, everybody. We'll be back soon. And welcome in, everybody. Welcome back if you tuned into our pregame show to this edition of Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day, live back again at Iroquois Arena. Last time we were here, the Charleswood Hawks moved on against the St. Vital Junior Victorias in Game 7 of last year's Elite 8 playoff round. They would get swept against the St. James Junior Canucks, but hoping that it's a different story at that time by the end of this year. River East looking to make it back into the playoffs after finishing last place in the league last year. We're underway here from Iroquois. As this all the way down, giving chase a Hawks defenseman, Richardson, for the Knights, clogs the boards a bit side of the net, loose puck there. As into this first minute, the Royal Knights with the puck down low. Passed out to the point, wide of the net, occupied by Keegan Gordon, who gets the start for Charleswood in this one. In this game brought to you by Terrico, Make Cannon Fasteners and Tools, Can Central Sports Cars and Memorabilia, along with goaltenders. As this gets played up, number 24, it takes a big hit in Nick Yassen. Maslow sends this in for Richardson, who tries to reach for that puck but can't. Speaking of, Richardson sends a short pass back to Easton Luecki, who ends up turning it over. Van Norman works this up and ends up on the stick of Lewis. Passed across, that one intercepted by River East as they go the other way. Passed, that shot wide of the net, Logan Ash, the one who did send that drop pass. He has the puck back on his stick. Up high slot. That will be blocked away by number 22 of the Hawks and Zach Enerson. There's a given chase now, number 27, and Thomas Nelson gets there quick enough to force a turnover down low. Dudic able to chip this one out now and sending his teammate in number 13 the other way. In Nathan Morrison, who gets taken out by a River East Royal Knights defenseman, as River East able to play this out to Lemur Scioli. As that puck get past him, Logan Ash the same thing. Charleswood sends it in deep opposite corner. Dudic goes off for a change along with Zach Enerson. And getting the start tonight for River East is not Manuk, it is Keaton Wallishen, number 1. Just to clarify that, his captain, Anthony Jacob, gets bumped off the puck. McPherson now picks it up and circles back in his own end. Off of the far boards onto the stick of Cole Penner, who just decides to put this on net. As Wallishen decides to get his boys a breather here early on. 17:28 remaining in this opening frame. And for Cole Penner, obviously, that potential is there, right? For him to be a really good player in this league. Had some big shoes to fill with Ryan Hugan, leading the league in goals last season, or tied for the league lead with Tyler Rubini. I mean, from what I've seen so far in the short time, Cole Penner has some speed to his game, and that fits the archetype this team has. Speaking of Cole Penner, he comes down right side. That shot just wide of the net. Looking for his 6th point of the season. As he goes off, or no, that's Matt Carlson who goes off for a change. Penner's still out there along with McPherson. And out there is number 17 and Chance Traverse. So this puck gets all the way down. Given chase, Lucas Van Norman is not strong enough for icing. That puck was not. As huge hit almost laid on there from Wallishen on Glavina. Glavina took it well along the boards. As it's an icing all the way down into the River East zone. River East will get a face-off here coming up. Number 25 in Caden Wallishen to take the draw. He wins that towards the boards to Luecki. Luecki gets bumped off the puck. Behind the net now. Charleswood looking to break this out against a River East forecheck that's coming hard as expected here early in the game. Pass to the middle. Finds the stick of Traverse now, who his shot ends up wide of the net. Took that draw pass from number 15 in Eros Bazin. Walshin lays a hit on Traverse. Sean plays that across. D to a teammate. This is on to the possession of the River East Royal Knights now. As this to Wallishen. Caden Wallishen deflects it in, redirects. Before the red line, no icing on the play as it's waved off. River East getting back on the forecheck, though. Trying to win this puck battle down low, but they can't. Here goes Matt Carlson, sprung with the pass. Carlson tries to flip this to the middle, onto the stick of number 9, who ends up having that disrupted in Tyson Spieber. Or Sperber. As this puck ends up out of play for a whistle offside. 15:20 remaining in the first, still a scoreless game here on MMJHL Game Day, brought to you by Terrico, Can Central Sports Cars and Memorabilia, Make Cannon Fasteners and Tools and Goaltenders. And this Friday night, a chance potentially for River East, trying to chase that puck down was Maslow, but was not quick enough to beat the Hawks defender to it. The Hawks now looking to get on the forecheck. This gets played up the right boards. Maslow into the middle, onto the stick of a teammate. As that's turned aside by Gordon. That shot coming off the stick of Nick Gasson. This face-off will be to the blocker hand side of Gordon, won by the Royal Knights, but between both defensemen as it exits the zone. Papaganakis goes to Ash. Ash with a nice move, but an offside created because of it. A little bit too much hesitation, I guess. As we'll get a face-off closest to the Charleswood Hawks bench. We hope that our stream is coming through well. And by the way, we did a test stream before this to make sure that everything was up and running. Eric Coy, I feel like a professional up here in the booth. It's fun. A lot of fun calling games here, even though we've only done the one. But speaking of the home team here, looking to work this puck around on the cycle. They get to the low slot. That shot from Dudic, unable to go. As it got disrupted, Dudic still out there whacking away at it. Reynolds tries picking the puck up, but he can't. It's on to Dudic's stick again, stripped away by Logan Ash as he connects with Ursioli. Ursioli now chips this in just before the blue line and going to chase down the puck, but Keegan Gordon ends up sending this all the way out. Sent back in again by McKay for the Royal Knights. Gordon leaves it for a teammate as Charleswood tries to get a breakout going, but it stops in the neutral zone. Knocked off the puck. Number 22 in Zach Enerson sent in deep again into the Hawk zone by the Royal Knights as Keegan Gordon tries playing this out. Oh, Jacob with a nice chance, but an even better stick from Cole Penner there to disrupt, not allowing that shot to even transpire out on the ice. As the Royal Knights continuing to keep this Hawks team in their own end, finally gets out and onto the stick of Delacruz, who passes across. The Royal Knights looking to get the transition game going now. Bobbling puck. Neither team can pick it up. Now it's picked up by the Hawks. Sperber down the right side. Protecting. Taking it around the net now. Surveying his options. Goes up to the point. Van Norman to Glavina. Glavina. Low shot looking for a deflection. Hits something, but it goes wide of the net. Pretty sure it hit a skate. Glavina still on it. He's working into the low slot now, or high slot that was, for Sperber, and his shot just wide. Charleswood tries sending this onto the net. Number 21 in Jaden McPherson. Slewicki and Glavina get tied up in the middle of the ice. And another face-off inside of the Royal Knight zone. Carlson to take it against Anthony Jacob, as Jacob wins it and chips it out for the Royal Knights as they go off for a change. Long pass to Lewis. Lewis works it to the middle, and then heading to the net for Charleswood, but Carlson couldn't locate Sperber. A bit too much pressure coming back on him. That's turned over to the net. Oh, there's a loose puck there, almost put in early. Pass Gordon off of the stick of number 15 for this Royal Knights team, and Matthew Diddick is back in the Hawk zone. They turn this one over down low. River East backhand wide of the net. Looked like maybe he was trying a backdoor aerial pass there, saucer pass, but did not seem to work out. This gets stretched up to Giasson, who leaves it for Diddick. Diddick, his shot blocked there by Sean, who was in a good shooting lane to block it. All the way down into the Knights' end again, and Papanakis be the first to retreat it. Gotta be honest, any player that wears number 10 has that special place in my heart. That was the number I always wore growing up. So anyone that wears that is certified beauty. Here's a mistake, though, potentially almost losing an edge. And paying for it was Charleswood defenseman number 2. And David Johnson. Johnson's still out there. Giasson fans on the puck. Good back pressure from the Hawks coming back as it gets sent across. Backhand pass. Ended up hitting the boards into the middle. Maslow couldn't settle it down. Sent in by the Hawks now. And given chase. Number 15 in Enerson. Enerson's still out there. Delayed offside. He can get on the attack now. River East works this puck out. Maslow somehow catches that puck off of the boards. Looked like a tough one for him to handle, but handled it well. Dudich at the line just has that puck knocked away by a River East defenseman. It'll be Logan Ash who looks to wheel. Out muscles Dudich, gets past Tim Reynolds, back to Ash, but Ash this time couldn't get a good handle on the pass back and has it taken away. It's a long stretch pass up. Can't connect as Charleswood had that covered well. Is this into the skates of number 2 and David Johnson. Up to Van Alstyne. Van Alstyne joining the rush now. Looking for players to Dudich. Side of the net. Dudich there for the rebound and takes a bit of physicality afterwards. He's not going to back down as him and Delacruz go at it a bit. Someone else down there as well. But with that, 9:40 remaining in this first period of action. If you can read the scoreboard over there, it says 0-0. Still scoreless between these two teams, as that's also what we have on our scoreboard, of course. Face off to the right of Wallachin. As Keaton Wallachin so far hasn't been tested too bad by the Hawks, but this is a team who, in my opinion, I think going to get better as this game goes along. Huge hit down below, backhands turned away. Nice save by Wallachin to stay with it. That hit was laid on by Dudich. As into the Hawk zone now, Van Norman evaded the check-in of Ursioli. Hawks now. A 2-on-1 developing. Dudich was waiting for the pass, never got it as the shot wide of the net. Reynolds almost blown up there at his own line. As Charleswood controls again. Played up. And back down low into the Royal Knights zone. Turned over. Cole Penner tries getting a short pass over to McPherson, but can. It's back onto the stick of Penner. Drops it behind the back. Now down low to McPherson and goes up top. That shot from the point turned aside by Wallachin into the corner as Charleswood continues on their cycle game. Now starting to get some pressure going. As is Thomas Nelson from down low. Feeds fellow point man and Sean, who plays it to McPherson at the top of the right face-off circle. McPherson gets tied up and has this puck turned over. Charleswood still maintaining pressure, though, as they don't let River East get this puck out just as of yet. Turned over again. Sean, a blast from the point, turned aside by Woloshyn. This ends up into the skates of a Charleswood defender. It's going to cost him a penalty here coming up to Thomas Nelson for interference, I assume. Delayed attacker, or extra attacker coming on. That shot almost makes it through traffic. Charleswood finally touches it up. And with that, the Knights, after surviving pressure in their own end, make it all the way down and catch maybe Charleswood a bit flat-footed as they take a trip-in penalty, or an interference penalty, as I should say. It'll put River East on the power play for the first time tonight, also looking for their first PP goal of the season as they come into this one with 0%. Man advantage. Even though they averaged, I think, the most shots those 2 games, 45 per the 2, and most goals as well with 11. That shot through traffic wide of the net. This Royal Knights squad looking to maintain possession. Maslow have the strip by Glavina. Has Carlson with them. Glavina to Carlson into his skates though. So that doesn't go there. Scores! It happened so fast that I could not quite find the words in time to describe it. But short-handed, this Charleswood team goes down for yet another game where they start off with the lead. You know, the little details like puck management, up high on the power play. If you get caught there, it could cause trouble for you, especially if team shorthanded comes down with multiple options to pass to, like Glavina did there. He finishes off the chance after that pass to Carlson hit his skates. It ends up back on the stick of Glavina, and he puts it home. Matt Carlson with the assist. Elliot Lewis also with the assist, as River East still on the power play. How do they respond here after giving up a short-handed goal? It's played to the point. Delacruz across to Richardson. He unloads. That goes off of the side of the left or right leg of Sean. River East continues on with the control. Richardson back to Delacruz. Loose puck in front. Scores! For the first time in the 2024-2025 season, River East strikes on the power play. At least that's what the website was indicating. On mmjhl.ca. Good job working that puck up top, going from D to D. And notice how River East stays on the puck, retrieves the puck even after having those shots not go through, getting blocked. That was the key to them recovering that and regrouping up high in the zone. And yeah, you end up getting a shot through. Ends up being a loose puck there for the taking for you to put in the net, and River East makes no mistake about it. I believe it was number 24, Nick Yasin, who gets the goal. Like that, we have a tie game here, and we put our sponsors back on the screen as well. Sperber tries breaking through, almost gets to that puck, close to the crease of Woloshyn, but will be turned up the other way by the River East Royal Knights with speed. Delays now played to the net. Charleswood just gets this out hard enough to get some clearance for now. In their own end with 5:39 remaining in this first period of action. Giassen just timed things up here recently on the Royal Knights' first power play goal of the season. A short pass onto the stick of Maslow, a little nifty move afterwards, but it doesn't matter for much as offside was called. So we'll get some fresh legs out for this Charleswood Hawks side. River East sticks with their lineup out right now. Richardson to take the draw. It's not quite sure who that is for the Royal Knights. I believe it's for the Hawks. I believe it's number 13 in Nathan Morrison. Morrison wins this back And into the neutral zone. No offside on the play. Here comes the Royal Knights trying to work this to the middle, but they can't. Covered up well by the Hawks. Played all the way down. Dudic giving chase on Allen. Dudic wins this puck battle. Strong on it. Played to Morrison, but could not connect. It's covered up a bit too well. Yasina has it stripped away. Enerson wheeling in. Enerson tries dangling past Allen, but cannot that time. As glove down by River East, they look to break up. It's Maslow getting bombarded in the middle there. Ends up making it into the zone there. Rebound! Oh, Keegan Gordon, as I should say. His execution way better than my pronunciation on that of his name on that rebound. Keeps this a tie game. For River East, starting to find these rebounds as this period continues to go along. Finding those loose pucks. Speaking of Logan Ash, a bit nifty on the face-off. River East has it back. Reynolds backhand to the net. Kicked to Penner as Penner plays it up top to McPherson. McPherson down low off the boards. Takes a bit of a funny bounce. Whacking away at it. Number 17 in Traverse. Traverse almost picks off this puck. Does pick it up now as he sends it down low to Cole Penner. Penner backhand pass to Traverse. That can't make its way there. We skidded up by Reynolds now. A little fake to the inside. Reynolds drop pass now. Ash, his shot blocked. Nice job by Reynolds to try to create more space for his teammate. But Charleswood stayed disciplined in their shooting lanes. Of course, with a new head coach behind the bench this season in Tyler Dixon. Or no, sorry, not Tyler Dixon. That's the head coach for the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy U18 prep program. We'll get his name in a moment. But Papanakis, as this puck plays it up to a teammate as it's into the neutral zone. As the head coach is Dylan Smith for this team. Smith, actually a very decorated Charleswood Hawks player. He won 4 championships in his playing days and was Hawks captain for 3 years. So he knows what winning is like within this organization. He's had a chance to coach with Will Kinsman for the past 3 seasons as well behind the Hawks bench as an assistant. So, of course, that shot gets tipped on net. But Kinsman moving back into a not a stressful role, assistant general manager, still on the staff. This is a very good built Charleswood team who only going to get better as the season gets long. They're tied right now, though, 1-1 with the River East Royal Knights, who are very much in this one. As Carlson receives the pass from Sperber. Carlson takes a spill. He was trying to protect. Huge hit laid on in retaliation from number 18, or number 19 in Elliott Lewis. Carlson and Lewis change. So this gets played cross ice. Holding the line is Woloshin. Woloshin's shot upon entry hits a skate of a Hawks player and goes out. With 2:06 remaining, Yasin tying this game up on the power play for the Royal Knights. It was the Hawks who struck first on the penalty kill. Shorthanded as to the net. Side of it. Yasin looking for his second of the game. Couldn't beat the shoulder of Keegan Gordon this time, though. As this puck in the corner, can't really see much of it. Richardson comes out victorious in this puck battle. He gets pinned along the boards, though, again. But played up by Maslow to a point man. And Dela Cruz, who has his shot blocked, can't be held in either by McKay. So McKay played it in deep. It's played into the Royal Knight zone. Whistle on the play, though. So we got a stoppage here. Again, just under a minute 30 left at this point. Period, as Morrison back out along with Dudic. And Sam Monin for this Charleswood team. Morrison loses the draw to Logan Ash. As, of course, as mentioned, 5 points in his first 2 games to open up his season. Short pass onto the stick of Dudic. Dudic, he drags, shoots, fires off of the backboards. Almost a bounce. Fortunate enough for Charleswood to take advantage of, but they can't. So this gets sent deep all the way into their zone. Keegan Gordon with some trouble playing the puck. Ends up having this turned over as from the point. That shot goes out of play. And we'll get another whistle here with under a minute left to go in this opening frame of action. Andrew Carson and his D partner for the Royal Knights going off for a change. Carson wearing number 6. This draw looked like it was initially won by River East, but it'll be in the possession of Charleswood. Sperber driving the net, tries feeding backdoor, created a rebound, but no one there on his team to follow up. Tipped high of the net now and into the corner as Charleswood still maintains possession. Moving along the boards. This puck turned over. Up top, shot can't get through from the slot. That shot picked up by Sperber, but he misses just wide of the net. It's out of the Knight zone again. Van Norman plays this across. Sperber finds Lewis. Maybe one more chance. Carlson not quite in his wheelhouse. That pass a bit off from Lewis. And into the dying seconds. This puck will end up finishing the period inside of the River East Royal Knights end. In their zone, it's 1-1 after the first. Both teams with some quality chances, and both teams finding ways to, find those loose pucks in the slot area, or the low slot area, and get some sticks on it, bang away at those loose pucks, and it's resulted in some good things so far. Not a super chippy game for the most part. There were some big hits. As for the penalties, 1 each for both sides. Funny enough, both goals have come on special teams. The shorthanded goal to open things up, scored by Glavina, and then of course Skiasen scoring for the Royal Knights on the power play for their first on the year. And I think, for Charleswood, I think it took them a bit long to get their game going, and once they did, we started to see them control things a bit more 5-on-5. For River East, I think it's just about, staying disciplined, just keeping things simple and continuing to pressure and make things tough on Charleswood in this game, because we saw some really good counterattacks from the Royal Knights as things went along, and we saw them dangerous off the rush. Been really impressed with some of the rookies so far. The young players from both sides have been impressing. And, both of these goaltenders, it will be interesting, too, to see if it comes down to one big final save at the end of this one. But before we get to the end of this game, we got period 2 coming up. Zamboni's going to make their way around the ice here soon. He hasn't even started the Zamboni driver yet, which is all good. Just gives us more time to relax, recoup, and get ready for should be an exciting, eventful period number 2 here. From Iroquois Arena in Winnipeg, Manitoba on mmjhl Game Day, you're watching Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day here on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca, both on our website or on our YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. This one brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico, and Goaltenders. We'll have scores from around the league here, along with some more analysis during the first intermission in just a bit. Stay tuned, though, as we'll be cutting to our promo screen here in this tie game. 1-1 after 20. Well, no set of the Zamboni driver as of yet, as I think the coaches are even looking for him as well. But yeah, as for how this game's gone so far, just to give you an update here, is we're back at the Iroquois Arena in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Charles Wood opened up the scoring in that first period, shorthanded, off of the stick of Nathan Glavina, defenseman, as he joined the rush. It was a 3-on-1 that developed. And then River East, we mentioned it before the game started, that they had not scored a single power play goal yet. Well, they would answer back with the power play tally of their own, as it would be Nick Giasson scoring from Liam Ursioli, assisted by Caden Delacruz as well. Matt Carlson and Elliot Lewis on the assists on Glavina's shorthanded marker. Both players scoring their first of the season. As for the shots, they haven't been updated here on the site as of yet. In my opinion, I thought River East came out a bit stronger. But as the period went along, I do think that Charleswood started to get to their game and started to get to that fast pace that we talked about. A good forecheck displayed by them as well, and started to build some zone time. As for River East, I mean, this is a team that continued to play hard throughout those 20 minutes, continued work, and even had some opportunities off of the rush coming in, right? And even had chances to get past, the Charleswood defense and to get shots on net. Keegan Gordon was pretty solid throughout the period for Charleswood and net. Thought that Keaton Wallishin, rookie goaltender for the Royal Knights, was also pretty strong in that period. As for the other scores from around the league, so Zamboni driver has made his way onto the ice now. But yes, it is currently... Wow, the struggles continue for St. James. Down 4-0 to the Fort Garry Twins. After the first 20 minutes of play, Balshaw, Gilberto, Halamandaris, and Cienflone, all with the goals for Fort Garry, out shooting St. James 18-5. And for St. James, all they may be looking for tonight is their first goal of the season. Still yet to get on the board for last season's highest scoring team in the league. As for the St. Vital Junior Victorias and the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, it's looking like we're on the brink of maybe another type of back and forth game tonight. It's currently 3-2 for the Victorias with 16:07 remaining in the second. The Raiders Junior Hockey Club leading in the shot category, 15-9 there. Netchwood continues his strong season with 2 goals on the night. Goretzky, a defenseman for the Victorias, getting in on the action and some scoring. Ryan Cromie and Naked Branson with the goals for the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, as that game should probably remain close until it comes to its conclusion. Those teams always giving each other hard battles, it seems, in these past few seasons. Yeah, and this one, as the Zamboni makes its way around the ice, we're going to send it to a promo screen quick here again before we take another break before the start of the next period. I think what's going to be interesting to see how both these teams come out in this next period. With a bit of a delayed intermission, does it kind of screw up the flow of play, the momentum that these teams have been building? And yeah, which teams are going to be able to get to their game and execute better as this game goes along? It should be intriguing to find out. Both these teams undefeated coming in this early season. One of them will be 3-0 after tonight. You're watching the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League game day number 5 here on the network. We'll throw it to a promo screen quickly here as the Zamboni continues to make its way around the ice. Little the good old hockey game playing, stomping Tom Connors. I feel like I gotta fact check that. I'm forgetting his name. He's too much of a legend for me to get it wrong. Yeah, Stompin' Tom Connors. That's who I thought it was, and only fitting to play it since we are indeed in a hockey arena. Welcome back to Eric Coy Arena in Winnipeg, Manitoba. They did, in fact, find the Zamboni driver, and we are, in fact, just about to get going here for the second period of action between two undefeated teams, both at 2-0 in the River East Royal Knights. The visitors taking on the home side in the Charleswood Hawks. We'll see if shots have been updated in this one from the first period of play. So I don't believe they have been yet. Nope, no shots have been reported as of yet in this game. But I'd have to think that shots for the most part were pretty even for most of that period. I think Charleswood might have had a bit of a slighter edge as they make their way onto the ice now. This team, of course, coached by Dylan Smith this season, a former Hawks player, a player that was a part of their foremost recent championships. So I'm not sure if you've ever had a chance to look in this arena on the wall, but they got so many mmjhl banners, the most decorated team in the history of the league. Pure domination in that 2000s decade. Winning 04-05, 05-06, 06-07, 08-09, 09-10, 10-11, and 11-12 as well. The last team to win 4 in a row in this league. And a team that's been playing really good to start off the season. 8 goals for, 1 goal against. Going up against who was the highest powered offensive squad from the opening weekend, as River East scored 11 goals for through their first 2 games. Enough chit-chat about the past, though. We're back to the present here. We're back to action as the second period is underway from Eric Coy Arena. As played to the middle, Carlson to Sperber. Kicks it out to Glavina. Glavina, his shot gets blocked on the way through to the net by River East Royal Knight. Glavina, though, crouches down to keep this in and sends this shot wide of the net. Held in by Van Norman, though, across to Glavina. Glavina hesitates before working up. His shot turned aside by the glove of Wallish, and loose pucks out of the net. Sperber couldn't fire it. As here come the Royal Knights, making their way up with speed. Maslow cut into the middle, but he was disrupted, and that's a shot fanned on by Maslow. Backhand on net. Gordon struggling with it for a sec, but it finally gets sent out. And Maslow's so close potentially on that one, but just fanned on it in his wheelhouse. That a misplay from Keegan Gordon in the net. It's picked up by Reynolds, sent on, rebound there, hopped up over the stick of a Royal Knight. However, Dudish now sending it the other way with speed. He makes it there, passes it cross ice, almost connects with a teammate in number 22, Zach Anderson. Icing on the play is called. And a track meet to start things off here in period 2. Both teams not missing a beat after having a bit of a longer intermission. Of course, we've talked about Charleswood's speed. I've heard about it being raved about by, their front office. And as for the River East Royal Knights, I had a chance to talk with the team's owner in Barry Bonney, just as preseason was getting going for that squad. And he said that he felt very good about this year's group. Ever since they made their trades last year, it was, it was a fire sale for them, basically, right? Getting younger and looking towards the future. And if you talk to anyone on that River East Royal Knights team, they said that, the vibes in the room and everything just improved after those trades were made, getting some new blood in. Now they got some really nice, talented new players on this squad that have made an impact early on, like Logan Ash, and making an impact in this game. Rookie goaltender in Keaton Woloshin, who stops a good rebound chance there for the Hawks as they have this puck down low in the zone. Enerson couldn't get a pass up to Nelson. Trips up. Nelson now gloves this down, takes a hit, and was ready for it at the point. It'll be called a hand pass. Speaking of a newcomer for this team, too, someone who came over in one of their trades during the trade deadline for River East is Raf Padua. So he goes off for a change. New lines come on for the River East Royal Knights as Cole Penner, newest addition to this Hawks team, wins the draw. As puck still maintained in the Hawk zone. High glove save there from the point. A rising shot. Saved with confidence by Gordon. We'll get a stoppage. 17:24 remaining in this first period of play. Or the second period of action, that is now. As goes all the way down as McKay being chased by Penner. McKay trying to fend him off, but Penner too fast to get to the puck. McKay still battling with him. Penner gets it to the point, trying to tip this shot from Johnson at the point. As Johnson able to hold it in. Plays it down the left side to McPherson. Into his skates, though, as this gets sent out of the zone. And giving chase back now is Johnson on Lewicki. As Johnson wins the race to the puck there. So this gets sent all the way down into the Knight zone again. Played into the neutral zone, though. Down the left side. Protecting the puck to the middle. That shot turned aside by Gordon. Coming off of the stick of number 15 and Matthew Diddick. New line combos out for both sides as they get fresh legs out. River East ends up winning the draw for a moment, but this will be snatched up by Curtis. Sends it in deep for this Hawks team. So it gets sent into the neutral zone again. Glove down by Glavina, but his pass fanned on a bit. As back into the neutral zone. Onto the stick of Stephen Curtis now. Loses possession of it, gets out of the zone. Hawks need to send it back into late offside as they retreated out of that River East end of ice. Bogue tried chipping it up to Maslow. The pass didn't connect. Allen trying to stretch this cross ice now, but couldn't. It's onto the stick of Van Norman. Circles back. Van Norman, his short pass misses. Traverse completely, ends up into the crease of Gordon, who plays it to Van Norman. This time Traverse can't take that pass again from Van Norman, as Karen for River East goes D-to-D with Papanekis. And River East turns this puck over. Down below in the Charles Wood zone, finding an outlet man. That play to Traverse, but behind him in the neutral zone. All the way down, no icing on the play. Lewis first one on a Traverse. Maintains possession of the puck. Backdoor pass attempt. Doesn't find the stick of Curtis there. Up and over the glove of a Royal Knight. On the flip pass there in their own end. Down low they have it. Being pressured. Turned over. Sperber almost with a chance. That was created off of the hard check-in of Lewis, who's still out there on Karen. Making things difficult on him almost. As Royal Knights finally get out of the zone. Richardson working up. He decides to shoot this right into the breadbasket of Gordon. And with that, we get another stoppage to play here. Second period of action. Another face-off coming in the Hawks end of things. Urcioli on the draw. Loses this one to a Hawk. So that was Morrison who tied him up. D. Royal Knights tried going but couldn't connect it. Logan Ash with the puck on his stick for just a moment. Reynolds past the red line, sends it in deep, and River East looks to get on the forecheck on the attack. Forcing Charleswood, it seems like a lot of times this period, to just go off the high glass and play it down. Side closest to us specifically. Reynolds has a man in Ash with him far side, but decides to take it. This time drops it. Ash, hit shot. Rebound there. Gordon sprawls out to make it. Covers it up. And his teammates coming to his defense to box these Royal Knights players out. And man, I mention it so often. The counterattacks of these teams. Well, a bit of mishandling of the puck in the neutral zone. And you'll see Reynolds, I thought he should have passed it quicker potentially to Ash, but takes advantage of the room he has. They kind of manipulate the D a bit by doing a switch up high on the drop in the zone, and they're able to open up some space heading towards the net. It's those turnovers in any level of hockey that, if you can't recover fully from them, and you got to do it quick because it happens quick off of those turnovers, those chances, right? You could be in trouble. But River East still unable to find that go-ahead goal. Neither has Charleswood, as we remain at 1 apiece tied here. It's River East trying to get on the transition up, but loose puck too far. Gordon kicks this one out into the high slot onto a teammate's stick. So it's now Enerson who tries dropping this to Dudich. Dudich, all he can do is try to send this down low again. Not quite hard enough, though. Van Norman to Dudich. His shot just wide of the net from the left face-off circle. Now it'll be Glavina, who's trying to work his way in. Glavina plays it to the net. The goal scorer in this game looking really good. Really confident with the puck in the offensive zone. But that most recent shot covered up by Woloshyn. We got another stoppage in play. This time a face-off coming in the Knights' end of the ice. It's Cole Penner out to take it. Penner this time will be tied up, but it gets back to Van Norman anyways. This puck now past Van Norman all the way down. This should be good enough for an icing, and it is. As number 3 for this Charleswood team, and Darian Sean gets to it first. Yeah, Sean, I remember him last season, wearing an A this season. Just a steady defenseman that I think Charleswood is, of course, happy to have back. Rebound is there. High slot backhand. Can't get on net there from Cole Penner. He has it side again, trying to maybe go up over top of Woloshyn, but goaltender a wall there in the net. Covers things up again. And yeah, when you take a look at a guy like Cole Penner compared to Rylan Huging, those were the main pieces in that trade. Like Penner, yes, he is smaller, 5'9", 140 compared to Huging, who's an absolute monster. I don't have his height and weight in front of me. But it's two different players, and I think that Penner, like I said, adds even more speed and adds a lot of skill to this Charleswood Hawks team. For Gary, of course, with Rylan Huging added to their team, well, they just add some more goal scoring, right, and a power forward. The rush chances in this one starting to happen more and more as these two teams opening up the ice. River East looking to work their way up. They do onto the stick of Ash. Trying to break through. Ash almost does, but can't quite muscle his way through hard enough. That shot from the point, a bit of a dipper from Karen as Maslow picks it up. Played a pass into the skates of Ash. He couldn't cradle it. As Charleswood now tries to start transition up. They do all the way down. And this, hits the pad of Woloshyn. You could see he was trying his hardest to avoid it, but could not. As backhand pass out to outlet man and Reynolds. Ursioli races down this puck. His shot turned aside by Gordon as he came down hard on number 2 and David Johnson for the Hawks. Now they transition up the other way. This sent in deep by number 15 and Eros Bazin. Tipped in the low slot there by Charleswood Hawk player. But the Royal Knights able to get this one out. That was Curtis on the tip. Number 18. Rookie for Charleswood. Refs say this one tipped off of his stick, so no icing as Charleswood goes off for a change. Turned over as a man gets blown up by Lewis. That was Reynolds taking the hit. Lewis from the slot almost puts away a goal on what would have been such an impressive sequence. And it was at that still impressive. It would have been even more impressive if he was able to put that one home. Reynolds maybe waking up a bit after that one. Bigger player, too. If we take a look at his height and weight. 6'5", 220. And the man who laid that hit on him, Elliot Lewis, 6 feet, 180. So got about 40 pounds on him. You always like to see, the guy who weighs a bit less laying those big hits, right? And I'm not sure if Reynolds was expecting it at the same time. Maybe that's what helped out Lewis a bit there, but yeah, what a sequence there from number 19. A penalty to the Royal Knights, by the way, in Dela Cruz on that high stick as Charleswood gets to work on their first power play of the game. Sperber from the closest hash marks works it down low. Now back up top, but that pass way off. Intended for Carlson. Over 30 seconds gone now in this power play. Almost trouble for Charleswood at their line. Almost turned over, but they're able to evade that and start to skate up. Glavina tries chipping it to himself. Trying to continue but can't. River East turns the puck over. Charleswood maintaining possession up high in the zone. Stick handling a bit, waiting. Was Glavina. Passes down low to Lewis. Now to the slot. Carlson turned away by Woloshyn. It's a prime scoring chance there for one of the Hawks' assistants. Number 16, and Carlson goes off. Getting a fresh power play unit on the ice now as Morrison will be taking the draw for Charleswood as he gets tied up and in to help, as I believe that's Anthony Jacob, team captain for River East. Charleswood gets possession. Drop pass up to Dudic. Back now across to Morrison, who skates in. Low slot. Dudic couldn't get all of that shot. It was in between his skates. Hawks working this puck around well. Down low and from side to side. Van Alstyne now waits. Some patience. Waiting for things to open up. Good stick from Yasin to get it in the lane there. Charleswood trying to recover this puck down low. And they do. Around the net, it's Morrison. Plays this up top to Sean, to Van Alstyne. Van Alstyne waiting, surveying. He goes through now with that shot, but it'll be deflected into the corner. 4 seconds remain on the power play. Maybe one more chance. It'll have to come even strength for Charleswood. Van Alstyne from the point, tipped on net, rebound there, but swallowed up. Getting a stop and play by the likes of Woloshyn. With 8:14 remaining, we're back to 5-on-5 play. Still tied at 1 apiece. It has been a very entertaining game up until this point from the Koi. Thank you to Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, as well as Goaltenders and Terrico for sponsoring another edition of Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day and their continuing support of junior hockey here in the province. Carlson almost putting home that loose puck That was bouncing in front. This goes all the way down for an icing into the Charleswood end. The Hawks will have another offensive zone face-off. Carlson, these last two chances he's had, he must be kicking himself right now. What does he have to do to put one in? As tied up again, this time River East winning the draw. A tie up in the middle of the face-off circle. Lewis chips it down low. No one there for Charleswood, however, as this gets sent all the way down for an icing again from the Royal Knights. And with that, another face-off inside of the Royal Knights zone. Maybe feeling it a bit now as we continue to work our way into the last half of this period. Lewis kicks it to Sperber. Back down low to Lewis. Now pass out in front. Carlson whacks away at it. Rebound there again. That high of the net from Lewis. This top line for Charleswood all over the front of the net in that puck. Just missing the finishing touches on that execution. As both teams take this chance to change their lines. Anthony Jacobs' line will be out for the Royal Knights. Penner's line out for the Hawks as Jacob gets the better of Penner this time. Charleswood now on the defense. Stopping up Bogue. Trying to get this to the middle off of a short pass was Penner, but has that taken away by Didick. Didick now able to get this out, but Thomas Nelson sends it in right away. For Charleswood, as gets played up into the neutral zone. D-to-D. The Royal Knights go. Hits the skate of Monin. Goes towards the middle. Can't be held in at the point there by Thomas as he fans on the bouncing puck. Sean just decides to send this down low now for Charleswood. That's turned over. River East. McPherson dangles through. McPherson to the net. Oh, turned aside by Wallishin. Could have been the highlight reel goal so far. McPherson still on it. Backdoor scores! Well, the pressure from Charleswood just kept mounting. I think a good indication of that was the two quick icings that River East took in a row. Charleswood, so strong attacking around the net. This time around, that pressure too much for River East to handle, and their goaltender in Keaton Wallishin. And a nice backdoor feed from Charleswood on that one. As Cole Penner puts it away. I believe Sperber had the assist. No, it was someone else, sorry. But it's a 2-1 game now for Charleswood. They did not hold the lead very well last time. Let's see if Charleswood can make the same example out of them this time. That turned aside by Gordon off of a very good rebound chance by the Royal Knights. Maybe giving up that goal wakes this team up a bit too, in terms of them getting more offensive zone chances late into this period. Maslow strips this puck away, plays it to the middle onto the stick of Richardson, kicks this out. That shot high of the net from Giasson. Of course, has the Royal Knights' only goal in this game to this point. Stop the clock with 5:32 remaining. In this period, draw to the blocker hand side of Gordon, won by Charleswood. As this gets rimmed around. And now out onto the stick of number 7 for the Hawks, and Glavina, who turned it over. And sorry, Stephen Curtis is Stephen Coutroy. Or Coutry, that is. Loose puck in front. Coutry, speaking of, almost puts that into the net. Plays it back up to the point to Glavina. Glavina waits. He fires. Glove down by Wallachin, though. Glavina still strong on it. Takes physicality. A hit along the boards. But took it pretty well as this puck gets sent all the way out now. First on it is Captain Van Norman. Up to Coutroy. Or to Coutry. As this puck, Sperber tries picking it up, but cannot, as it still remains in the River East. And Ash gives Sperber a bump as Sperber will glove this down. Has Lewis with him. Tries dangling past, though, and it'll be sticked away by Royal Knights defenders, circling atop of that right face-off circle now. Behind the net, Sperber goes. He'll be challenged. Pinned up there by number 5 in McKay. Played, though, back to Sean. As Sean ends up going to the point to Nelson. Nelson, he winds up, fires. That shot blocked. And it gets out of the zone for the River East Royal Knights as they can now go off for a change if they need to. As Carlson's pass to Lewis. Goes down low to Sperber. Sperber loses possession of the puck to Carlson, though. His quick one-timer wide of the net from that left face-off circle. This is all the way back down to the Hawk zone. 3:30 remaining in this period now. Reynolds sends this in deep. So it ends up on the stick of Ash. Ash decides to keep this one down low, but couldn't keep that cycle game going. The pass missed its mark. Speaking of, Ash continues on and trying to muscle his way through past Sean, but can't. Gets a short pass to Reynolds. Reynolds now maneuvers, tight turn towards the boards. Using those boards as kind of a shield to protect the puck. It has it turned over. 3-on-2 developing. Saucer pass to the middle. But turned aside by the Royal Knights defense. Reynolds now trying to muscle his way past Johnson. He does, taking it to the net. He tries going 5-hole rebound there, and Gordon sharp enough to take it away. With 2:43 remaining, he gets another stop and play for this Hawks team. As the home guys still lead this one by a score of 2-1. By the way, we'll have score reports from around all the rest of the league's action, as well as some analysis from this period coming up during our intermission report. Brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, along with goaltenders Terrico and Mick Hennon Fosters and Tools. A Hawk gets hit hard, but they go up the other way to the middle, trying to play that to the net. They do. As afterwards, number 2 and Johnson getting taken out into the boards. McPherson didn't like that. He comes in and gives a Hawk or a Knight a two-hander. As the players get broken up now and sent back to their respective benches. With 2:20 now left on the clock. Draw will be inside the Knights zone. Penner wins it. McPherson gives a bump to Dela Cruz before going into the corner. This loose puck picked up by Penner now. Penner tried playing it towards the net but couldn't get it there. As River East can't quite break this one out. It's on to the stick of, I believe, number 26 down low for Charles Wood. That shot from Van Norman turned aside. Wearing number 26, by the way, is Sam Monin for this Hawks team. We'll get another face-off inside of the Charles Wood zone. Or inside of the River East zone, that is. Always seem to get my zones confused for some reason. But Charles Wood, no mistake here, they win the face-off. Dudich taking it to the net, circles towards the boards, now plays it out in front from Morrison, but that pass Couldn't find 13. Van Norman just holds this puck in. So I think Dudic a bit confused on if it was a delayed offside or not. He stays in. Dudic blocks up the boards, clogs it up into the middle. His slot pass fails. D to D. The Hawks go. That tipped wide of the net from Dudic. As Charleswood maintaining good pressure here late in the period. Played up to the point. Van Norman goes down low. Up top for the shot, actually, that came from. Going for a tip. Couldn't find it as it goes out of play. As Matt Carlson will be out to take it. Ends up losing this draw to the Royal Knights. We're into the final minute of play now as Ursioli plays it to Reynolds. Reynolds, his shot, can't get through. That shot, again from Reynolds, wide of the net. Glove down by the Hawks. Possession of it is Thomas. Stretch pass up to Carlson. Carlson has a man with him. Drop pass. Oh, that just misses Lewis. His shot as he picked that puck up. Turned aside by Woloshyn. River East trying to stretch it out, but could not. They pick up this loose puck now as it's played wide of the net off of that shot. Ursioli. It goes across to a defenseman. Shot, not much danger from the point. As Charleswood trying to chip this out. They can't. Glove down, hand pass. Oh, definitely an easy one to call there for the refs. It's Ursioli was the culprit on that one. Ash to take the draw. 14.6 seconds left for the Royal Knights and wins it. This gets sent in all the way deep. Charleswood just looking for no mistakes here in the last 4 seconds or so. They chip this all the way out. Given chases. Penner, one more shot potentially, but not fast enough. Was almost quick enough to get there, though. And with that, that marks the end of the first 40 minutes of play in this game. Yeah, I mean, 2-1 score. This is still anyone's game in terms of who can win it. I think for Charleswood, we've seen them as the team with more quality chances as this game goes along. Late into that period, like, they were all over River East around their net, and was really giving them a lot of trouble in tight there. And River East, you know, it's getting better transition, I feel like, in that first period out of their own end. Not as good on those first passes, and just sometimes dumping it out to try to preserve some energy, and it would go down for icings. I think for Charleswood, you're looking for that same type of game, that same type of consistency to bring you home coming up in this final 20 minutes of regulation. And for River East, you know, this is a test for you early on in the season, right? You start off with 2 wins. Now you're going up against, in my opinion, one of the favorites to take home the Jack McKenzie Trophy this season in Charleswood, based on the team they have. So now that you're down in this one, your goalie's made some good saves. You're still getting good chances. And even though I thought that Charleswood dictated most of that play throughout that period, River East late in that period was still getting their chances. So can you continue to work hard? Can you continue to get your chances? And can you even, you know, find another level in your game? Guys like Reynolds, a rookie like Logan Ash, your captain in Anthony Jacob, and their other, you know, big-time players. This is what you're expected to do, which is step up and show out. And can River East find that from their top-end players or anyone coming up? As they're down 2-1 heading into the third period of action here. The Zambotis made it onto the ice earlier now. They found him quicker this time, I guess. This game brought to you by, of course, Make-Cannon Fasteners and Tools, Can Central Sports Cars and Memorabilia, Terrico, as well as goaltenders. Hawks up 2-1 heading into the final 20 minutes. We'll be back for the call of the third period and more intermission analysis as well as scores from around the league here soon on mmjhl Game Day number 5. Welcome back into Eric Coy Arena here in Winnipeg, Manitoba for our fifth installment of mmjhl Game Day 2024-2025 in this Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League regular season. Battle of the Undefeateds tonight, really early in the season, but thought it was a cool storyline. Both teams coming in 2-0, especially given for the River East Royal Knights finishing dead last in the standings last season. Charles Wood ended up taking the lead into the period. As we take a look if they've updated the shots in this game at this point. And they indeed have. So it's actually the River East Royal Knights that have the shot advantage slightly, 21-19 in shots for them. It was 8-8 after the first period, 13-11 for the Royal Knights last period. And yeah, it was Charles Wood who ended up getting the goal. Cole Penner is fourth of the season, assisted by Jaden McPherson and Darian Shawn with 13:34 into the period. And yeah, I think that, I still stand by this, that I do believe that Charles Wood is maintained more of that offensive zone time pressure, even though the shots don't indicate, that may be the case, even though they're really close. We'll get to the scores from the rest of the league in action right now, as it is the St. Vital Junior Victorias up 5-3 on the Raiders Junior Hockey Club at Seven Oaks Arena. Over halfway remaining in that third period. Shots 25-20 for the Vics. They scored 2 to the Raiders 0 in the second period to go up 4-2. It's now a 5-3 game. And the first goal of the season for the St. James Junior Canucks, it comes from Aiden Werfel, Werfel, that is, an 05 born player. Getting on the board for the first time this season, for the first time any player score for St. James in the second. First 40 is done there, and it is for Gary up big. They added 3 more on the board in the second to go up 7-1, 27-11 they lead in the shots. And it's Halamandaris with 2 goals on the night. Balshaw, Gilberto, Cienflone, Matani, and Lizotte with the others. We'll see if we have a final in that one after this game is done. We're about to get set for the third period of play here. Both teams at center ice now, as will be the Royal Knights who come back in this one, down by 1 right now, entering the third, or will it be Charles Wood who holds on and maybe even extends their lead? Tune in during these final 20 minutes of regulation to find out. Speaking of, Reynolds chips over. Shawn in alone, tight. Not alone, but in tight. Wraparound chance, scores! Logan Ash gets the party started here for the Royal Knights in the third period of action. Picking up that loose puck off of what was a delayed penalty coming, drawn by Reynolds. And it started with his effort, that creative play from him to just chip it over really high and go. Got to the net, got a chance on net. Was also, of course, checked pretty hard going to the net, which drew that penalty. But yeah, Logan Ash staying on that chance, finding that window of opportunity to wrap it around past Keegan Gordon. And with that, we're tied here through the first minute of this third period of action. Charles Wood ends up kicking this to an outlet man in Traverse. Traverse goes up to Dudich. Dudich tried sending the pass to Morrison, but couldn't get it to him. Morrison picked up the puck, however, and sent it to the point, back down low. This is now into the neutral zone again. Onto the stick of a Royal Knight. That's Jacob who sends it to the net. Or it might have been Maslow. Yes, Maslow, that is. As Karen, behind the back, a D-to-D pass to Papanakis. Papanakis goes cross ice onto the stick of Maslow to Richardson. His shot contested by a Charleswood Hawks stick and goes out of play. Well, just like the first period, the bulk of the scoring chances starting off with the River East Royal Knights sidestepping a man there as McPherson lost the puck, eventually has it sticked away as this gets sent into the Hawks bench, actually. Almost catching it was Eros Bazin. As Papanakis ends up sending this one out into the skates of Johnson, who almost has that taken away. Now picked up by Jacob, who ends up sending this one high of the net. It's number 2, is Johnson for Charleswood. As now on the chase. Here goes a chance for Charleswood. Scores! It's Sam Monin who regains the lead for this Hawks team. And Speed, the name of the game there again. On another goal. As much like Reynolds, Monin chases this one down. But instead of being stopped on his move, he decides to shoot instead of deking. And snipes over the right side, the blocker hand side of Woloshyn to regain this 1-goal lead here with 17:18 remaining in this third period of action. This game that continues to heat up into the middle. That's onto the stick of Lewicki. How's a player going to the net? A teammate in Woloshyn, I believe. But that pass can't get to Woloshyn. Caden Woloshyn being the forward almost gets a whack at the puck there in the slot. Almost again as that ended up on Woloshyn's stick. But Charleswood transitions up the other way just before the blue line sent in deep to the opposite corner as Charleswood tries to get on their forecheck attack. Carlson gives a Knight a bump as this puck gets sent out of play. So we'll get a face-off coming in the Royal Knight zone here. Blocker hand side to Woloshyn. With 16:41 remaining, Elliott wins the draw. That shot fanned on from the point by Nelson Thomas. Thomas able to keep it in. As front of the net gets cleared away and out of the Knight zone. Gordon out of his net to send this one into the neutral zone. Aerial to Lewis, who makes his way down the left side. Cuts to the middle. High slot there. Rebound. Poking away at it was Sean. But could not make anything out of it as it goes out of play. Was getting distracted with something flashing on the wall out there. Of course, last Sunday, actually, I haven't really mentioned this, but yeah, we were at Southdale. Our crew was broadcasting Riels versus Canucks, and with 57 seconds to go, the fire alarm got pulled. 57 seconds to go in the second period. So we all evacuated out. Believe it was just a false alarm. So there was no fire, I believe. Someone might have just pulled it. Now the fire truck's coming down and everything. The selfish side of me was hoping that my equipment was okay and didn't burn down if there was a fire. But of course, overall, happy that no one was harmed over at Southdale last weekend on that Sunday, and that it was turned out just to be a false alarm. As Reynolds, creating that tying goal at the time for River East, ends up winding up a shot that would be stopped by Gordon. As this puck into the skates of a Royal Knight. Stretch pass up. That can't find the man intended, who was Ash. As Van Alstyne picks this puck up. Dangling and trying to at least, but good defense there from the Royal Knights. I believe number 3 in Delacruz made the play. Cross ice pass. Goes onto the stick of Reynolds. Pushes up that left side. High shot. Looking for that top right corner. Goes wide of the net. As Charles Wood chips us out again. Back into their zone. Van Norman. His pass into neutral ice. Ends up missing. Stick of Morrison. Van Norman gets it back. Plays it back to Van Alstyne. Van Alstyne up to Dudich. Dudich. Cross ice pass. Too long. But gets a fortunate bounce, I guess. Better than an icing, as this sets up an offensive zone faceoff coming up for the Charleswood Hawks. So we got a lot of time left in this period, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into this game. If you are on this Friday night, we are your home for mmjhl hockey here in Manitoba in 2024-2025, returning for another season, which super pumped about. Our second game ever recording here in Eric Coy, and it's been a dandy. As Penner from the side of the net gets knocked off its bearings, bringing a stoppage to play once again. Yes, thank you to everyone that's tuned in, for you making this possible, and thank you to our sponsors for their support, supporting junior hockey and here on the network. In Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools, Terrico and Goaltenders. They'll be the sponsors for our post-game show, of course. Stay tuned for that, as we'll have a player of the game on each side, as we usually always do here for the MMJHL. As the River East Royal Knights send this puck into the neutral zone, back into the Hawk zone, as Glavina passes it up to McPherson, which pass missed the mark. Can find him, and puck ends up out of play once again. Hitting that close mesh to us quite a bit tonight. That's usually the way it goes, especially in a league that doesn't have, delay of game for puck over glass. Gonna see teams trying to shoot it as high as possible off of that glass to try to clear it at the very least. And if worse comes to worse, there's just a face-off in your own end again, and it's won by the defensive team who sent it out of play in River East. They turn it over again, though. It's sent into far side boards as the Royal Knights pick it up, building speed. It's Bruce trying to drag through. He does, but nothing successful comes out of the move. Behind the net, protecting, trying to at least get knocked off that puck is Captain Jacob, as this gets sent all the way down for an icing into the Royal Knights zone. Draw coming all the way back into the Hawk zone. It'll be Logan Ash to take the draw on this icing. As he wins it, Royal Knights control. Trying to go to that left face-off circle, cross-ice pass. It's Royal Knights defenseman, but could not locate Logan Ash. Coming down the other way is Travers. Travers cuts to the middle now. Still holds on to the puck. Nice move inside. That shot turned aside by Woloshin. Rebound wasn't there. He put away for the Hawks. Ursioli, his shot from just above the ringette line will be turned aside by the glove of number 1 in Keegan Gordon. As another face-off comes inside the Charleswood Hawks, and would definitely say that this period has belonged to the River East Royal Knights. Even though they are down by 1 right now, they've had most of that play sustained in the Hawk zone, and a lot of icings here from the Hawks in this period. This puck gets sent right back in. Van Alstyne, short pass over, makes a man miss there. Makes a man slip, actually, in number 12. In Richardson. As the Hawks into the low slot, Lewis could not unload on that. He was disrupted. And coverage was too good. Here's Richardson with the chance, backhand. Oh, just hits the post. I believe he had Gordon beat. So close for number 12 to tie in this game. Drop back to him from McKay. Has this shot blocked by Sperber. As this puck gets sent up, Sperber receives this short little pass from Enerson. Sperber, his shot just gets turned aside by Wallachin. Back on it is Enerson from the side of the net. Turned aside by Wallachin. And we get more jarring going on after the whistles. These two teams coming together afterwards to have some words after the whistle was blown dead. Charleswood so close to going up by 2 in this one. We've only had 1-goal leads, where at times they haven't lasted long. Like in the first period of action. Of course, they took a 2-1 lead heading into this intermission, or into this period, that is, heading into intermission. It was the Royal Knights who struck with not even 30 seconds into this period. Speaking of, that's blocked. Giving chase is Padua. Padua unable to make it there with his foot speed. As Morrison comes down the right side. Had 2 men with him, but River East now with all their men back to defend in the zone. 10:50 remaining, almost halfway done. Exactly in this third period of action between the Hawks and the Royal Knights. Enerson, Chris, cross-ice pass into the slot. Loose puck there. Oh, Charleswood couldn't get a shot on cleanly. So I believe that was Morrison. He gets taken down to the corner as well. As Morrison in this line. Change now. Penner, McPherson, and Monin come back on. Monin, the latest goal scorer in this game, sends the puck down low as Penner will retrieve it now, higher up in the zone. Puck sent into the Charleswood zone again. Reynolds on the forecheck creates a turnover. Reynolds goes down low into the high slot. Oh, tic-tac-toe. That one almost finding the back of the net for River East. And that top line, if anything, for River East, has caused the most problems for this Hawks team tonight. The way they're able to get after loose pucks or pucks that aren't fully, secured in the Hawks' possession, and how they've been able to turn that into dangerous scoring chances has been, I think, one of the most impressive things about this River East Royal Knights team tonight. And now speaking of, Logan Ash, he decides to shoot. Oh, that glove save by Keegan Gordon. Even better than that shot release from Ash. As he flashes the glove quickly to snag that one up. Get another stoppage here in play. 9:37 remaining. New line out for the Royal Knights. It's Richardson who this time loses the draw. But the Royal Knights get on the forecheck. Taken out through the middle is Lewis, who kicks it over to Van Norman, leading this attack now. Van Norman tries playing into the net, but can't find it. The area he wanted that one to go to. Now River East ends up turning this puck over. A potential bad situation. They evade it by Maslow staying hard on his man there near the point. It's Dela Cruz now. Short pass kicked out to his teammate. And Karen, who shot, ends up high of the net. Sorry, that was McKay, as McKay sends it back in deep again for this Royal Knights team. As him and Dela Cruz remain out onto the stick of Dela Cruz, taking over the puck off of a Hawks turnover. Feeds a pass over to Wallishin. Caden Wallishin decides to shoot from a sharp angle. From an angle that was far out, away from the net. Ends up meeting the glove of Gordon with the shot. And with that, we get another stoppage in play. As this draw will be won by the Charleswood Hawks. Getting up with it, Coutrie. Coutrie passes it over to Traverse. Traverse tries going, I think, back to Coutrie. Or one of his other line mates. Loose puck there. Oh, number 15 for the Hawks, and Bazin couldn't find it. Another chance for Bazin as he tries to get that rebound. Got a stick on it, but could not get it past the goaltending of Wallishin. As the Morrison line heads back out for this Hawks team. And for Charleswood, I think that he got to be really happy again with this type of team you got on paper. Super strong in the top six again. You know, it remains to be seen if this team will have the same type of depth as last year. You know, they've lost some good pieces on the defensive side, but they've gained some good pieces. And these new players have looked really good tonight. We're talking about players like Zach Enerson, you know, Sam Monin, who have, you know, contributed offensively. Yeah, and, you know, these players only getting a chance to learn from this part of the season and get better and continue to develop. Can't wait to see what these teams look like in midseason form. Ursioli goes to the high slot, dropping it to Reynolds. There he is again. That shot high of the net and out of play from number 17 in Liam Ursioli. With 7:35 remaining now. Another face-off inside of the Hawk zone. And almost jumping the pass there was McPherson, who did but couldn't get it successfully out. Gordon plays this to Van Norman, who misses Penner with the breakout pass. So another icing for this Hawks team. And you got to be curious to see which one of these teams will take a timeout at any point within, you know, the final parts of this game. If Charleswood continues to ice this puck and stay hemmed in their own end, you could see Dylan Smith calling it to maybe give his team a breather. Allen down low. He gets rubbed off this puck by Glavina. This is Glavina, chips it up. A foot race. Monin, oh, looking for his second of the night. That puck bobbling or rolling up on him. Glavina, his shot from the point will be wide as River East tries to break in the other way. Not fast enough to stay with that puck, though, was Richardson. At the point, Penner being pinned along the boards by Maslow. River East able to maintain possession of this puck. Now Allen trying to chip it to himself, but interfered with, and that draws a penalty coming up. Good things happen when you move your feet. And for Allen on that one, he continued to do that and created an interference that's coming to Elliot Lewis. I don't think he can really believe that for himself, but, you know, I mean, there's the one thing, right? You're saying, well, the player tried to move and I was only stopping him, and then it could be, well, you interfered with him and is progress maintaining forward, right? So you can look at it two ways. Unfortunately for Charleswood, they don't have much time to dwell on it. So they got to get a big kill here in this game. For River East, they would love to capitalize here. So far, though, haven't sustained anything significant on this power play opportunity. Still over a minute and 30 seconds left in it. As Liam Ursioli in on the draw. They both go a bit too early, him and Morrison. And it'll be Ursioli who wins it. Richardson plays it across quickly to Dela Cruz. His shot, oh, just high of the net. Occupied by Gordon. Dudic tried chipping it out, but can't get past Richardson and Reynolds. Reynolds now pinning Dudic along the boards. Him and Giassen going to battle. Plays a pass across to Ursioli. Oh, there's going to be a penalty. Him and Van Norman get tied up. It's going to be 2 minutes for a hold, effectively ending this River East power play. It'll be 4-on-4 for a minute and 12 seconds. And Ursioli was trying to gain inside position there on Van Norman. You could clearly see his arm go up and tug in that jersey too. So a good call made by the refs. Ursioli is getting his skate blade checked out. Because, yeah, I think he has to go off the ice because something wrong with his skate blade. So River East, I think, is going to need to send someone to the penalty box to serve this for the time being till Ursioli comes back. As the referees given their explanation to the River East bench, as they will get someone to serve this 2-minute holding penalty coming up. Let them go with number 9 in Easton Lewicki. As Matt Carlson, fresh off of the draw, played a short pass to Spurberg. The two couldn't connect as they were making their way towards the net. Spurberg down low, pinned along the boards. Matt Carlson in down low, along with Johnson, now who's pinned. Spurberg back down low to help. Ash being forechecked hard. Plays this to a D partner in this situation, who ends up skating up. It's McKay. Feeds a pass to the middle to Allen. Onto the stick of Maslow. Turns away. Nice move to protect. Over to McKay. Back to Maslow. Now his shot will be blocked away by Morrison. Across to McKay now. His shot, oh, just wide of the net. Looking for a tip on the way through. Didn't get it. Since we are at even strength, that will be called as an icing. With 4:44 remaining, 9 seconds left in this 4-on-4 opportunity for both teams. It's the Hawks who are up by 1 goal, 3-2. Last 5. Oh, that one just grazing the post. You could actually hear it from this booth up top that I'm currently in. We're onto a Hawks 5-on-4 power play, an abbreviated one with 40 seconds left. As Charleswood going for escape potentially. No, a bit of patience. Before Johnson goes D to D, that pass up to Enerson. Enerson now working his way in. Stops up near the left face-off circle. Feeds this back up to the point. To Glavina now. Glavina trying to find Dudic. That shot. He connected with it, but wide of the net. As Enerson down low. Time expiring on this power play now. Glavina back to Van Norman. Van Norman down low. This is set up. That shot turned aside by Wolishin off of the stick of Enerson. We're back to 5-on-5 play. Lewicki, fresh out of the box, chips this on net, giving chase, but covering it up will be Gordon. So we'll get another face-off inside of the Hawk zone. It'll be Caden Wolishin to take it for the Knights. That puck recovered by Padua. He can't get a shot to the net. Now it'll be Charleswood breaking out the other way. Lewis kicks it to Carlson. Carlson tries going back middle but can't find a man. As it'll be the Royal Knights skating up with speed. Padua tried to delay and stop up but lost possession of the puck. River East turns the puck over at the blue line. It's Spurberg. Has a man heading to the net. Backdoor fee. Can't find who is Elliot Lewis. Heading back door. Oh, so close there for two players that have made things happen all night long, along with Matt Carlson on that top line for this Charleswood team. This gets sent into the corner closest to our broadcast angle. Played up to Glavina. His shot will be blocked, I believe, by a Royal Knight. D2D, it goes to Glavina. Loses it a bit in his skates. Recovers well, though. Plays a short pass to the boards to Penner. Penner in his zone. Goes to Van Norman. He goes D2D. And it gets sent up to Penner in the neutral zone, who did not cradle that passing cleanly. As this puck sent in deep again. First on is Traverse this time for Charleswood. Penner behind the back pass up to Glavina. Back to Penner at the half wall. Penner, his shot can't get through. Taking away the shot lane there. It's number 4 in Bogue. Bogue now off that shot block. Plays a short pass up to Reynolds up that left side. Reynolds trying to maneuver his way past Glavina, but can't. Ashen for support. Picks up the loose puck. Lewicki! And there again, Reynolds from the side of the net. Not sure if they actually registered a shot that would count as a save for Keegan Gordon. Just couldn't quite execute there on what has seemed to be, from just the eye test, a lot of shots and opportunities from River East specifically in this game, in this third period. So we're approaching the final 60 seconds of action. Final minute of play here in regulation. The Royal Knights down by 1 and have looked like the better team for most of this period. You got to think when Caden Wolishin will be called to the net. Got to get possession. First, this puck gets played out into the Charleswood Hawks bench. And with that, it'll be the Royal Knights who take a timeout. It's been a lot of fun here tonight. So we take this time to update you on the scores from around the rest of the league to see if we got our finals in. Currently 9-2 it says, with 9-3 remaining in the Twins-Canucks game. Be the Vicks who would hold on to win 6-4. As the Raiders scored twice in that third period to make things interesting. It would be the Vicks. Start off 3-1, and the Raiders still looking for their first one of the season, falling to 0-3-1. As for this game, Charleswood looking for a huge final 42 seconds, or 45 seconds, To close this one out, River East will be pressing. You got to think. Sending everything at this Charleswood Hawks team on their forecheck, on their pressure, on everything in general. Got to get possession of this puck, though, with the goalie pulled. Charleswood able to clear this one out. It's to Dela Cruz. He goes cross-ice to Maslow. Maslow decides to dump it in. Penalty will be drawn from... Oh, Maslow can't retaliate like that. I'm not sure if River East will be getting a power play now. Believe they might be. Matt Carlson is getting kicked out of this game. And Royal Knights coaching staff not happy. Well, they both, of course, grabbing at each other near the end there. I'm not sure if Carlson did something to invoke what happened to Maslow for him to to retaliate the way he did. Anthony Jacob coming over to talk to the ref to see what the situation's all about right now too. So Cole Penner will go into the box. So yeah, you know what? Did Carlson spear him? He did something egregious because he gets a 5-minute major. Only 2 minutes coming to the Royal Knights. They will be on the power play even though they have Maslow in the box. 6-on-4 for them with 24.4 seconds remaining. As thank you to everyone that has tuned in to tonight's action. It has been quite a lot of fun here from River East. Or no, from Iroquois, that is. Between the Royal Knights and the Hawks. The Hawks trying to get this out. They do. Back into the Knight zone. Giving chase was Lewis there. As that goes just wide, hitting the side of the net. 10 seconds left. Reynolds working his way up with speed, trying to dangle in, loses possession of this puck. So with 3 seconds to go, maybe one last shot on net. Maybe there was a hand pass that was just called. But that should ultimately do it in this one tonight. As for the first time in this season, this regular season that is, the Royal Knights face defeat. And as for the Charleswood Hawks, they start off this season with a 3-0 record. 3-2 your final in what was a third period. I thought that was, controlled mostly by the play of the River East Royal Knights. We talk about opportunities all the time. Charleswood made the most of theirs when they could. And, for this team, surviving in their own end at points tonight. Getting some key saves in the end there from Keegan Gordon. Played well positionally. And overall, just this team, doing a good job of clearing their zone as the period went along better, even though there were some icings in there. But a team that started to get more on the attack with their transition game, building that speed up as that third period went along. But overall, I was very impressed from this River East Royal Knights side. Never quit in this game. Stayed in until the very end. Let in shots after the first 2 periods. And really, like I've been saying, dictated most of the play in this third. I thought that Reynolds was fantastic for this team tonight, and he's a player that I think I'm going to enjoy watching quite a bit this season. Was really impressed from the skill of Logan Ash, being an '05 born player. Still has a few years left in this league, and he looked really confident tonight. Was also impressed by Keaton Woloshin as well, a newcomer to this team. And overall, I think that Barry Bonney, this whole organization, River East, has to be happy with the potential of this team. It's still early in the season, and who knows, maybe they make some moves at the trade deadline to bolster them even further if they're in that contending position, around Christmas time, right? We'll have to wait and see. But we'll see if they've updated the final stats in this game. The shots ended up finishing as 31-30 in favor of Charleswood. Now, that's so interesting because Charleswood, for the first period that they led in shots, was that third at 12-9. Yeah, from watching it, I mean, I thought the River East Royal Knights dominated most of the possession and the shots in that period, but I guess I'm wrong. The game-winning goal tonight goes to Sam Monin, assisted by Tyson Van Alstyne. Ash opened up the scoring for his fourth in the third period to tie things up. Not even 20 seconds in, assisted by Kalen Reynolds and Liam Urcioli. But as for us, we're not going to keep you much longer. We're going to finish off with players of the game from both sides, presented by Kent Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, McCann Fasteners and Tools Goaltenders, and Terrico. We'll start off with the losing side in the River East Royal Knights. Well, I've been raving about them, right, in this post-game show specifically. And, praising them throughout this game. It's got to be, for me, Kalen Reynolds, player of the game, number 18, assistant captain for the River East Royal Knights. He was just setting the bar for the rest of the team and setting the pace on the offensive attacks. Was driving to the net hard all night long, used his speed, used his size to his advantage, and made a lot of high-quality plays happen. Of course, was a key part, the biggest part of why they even tied that game up to begin with at the start of the third period. And yeah, like I said, looking forward to watching him play a lot more this season on the network, as we'll be broadcasting more games in general. As for the Charleswood Hawks, you know what? I'm going to go with a defenseman that impressed me quite a bit. And Nathan Glavina scored the first goal of the game. He made some really great plays defensively, stayed with his man pretty consistently all night long, played a good gap, and was even transitioning and activating into the offensive zone nicely, creating good offensive chances for a very strong Charleswood Hawks team. So those are our players of the game. It goes to Reynolds for the Royal Knights, and then to Glavina for the Charleswood Hawks. Hawks will be back in action coming up this Sunday. We'll get you that in just a moment, the upcoming schedule, as we switch over here. As you look at the stats here, just realize we were muted, but Hawks will be back in action this afternoon, on this Sunday afternoon against the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, a Saturday game tomorrow in Morris, Manitoba, as the Railway Express will be in town in the Morris Multiplex to take on Pembina Valley. And, of course, Stonewall versus St. James will have that game here on the network live from Stonewall, Manitoba, as, we'll have to wait and see to see if the Canucks can find their game at any point early on here in the season. For Gary, the team that is laying on the beating on them tonight will be back in action in the team that we just covered, the away team, the River East Royal Knights home rink at Terry Sawchuk Arena this Sunday night. As for us on G Show Productions, We're going to be back to broadcasting MMJHL hockey on Sunday afternoon in Stonewall. Until then, everybody, I've been your host and play-by-play commentator, Graham the G Show Forsyth. Thank you to Terrico Goaltenders, as well as McKenna Fasteners and Tools and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia for sponsoring another edition of MMJHL Game Day. We'll catch you on Sunday, folks. Thanks for tuning into this one, into the game, into our pregame show, and this postgame show. We're going to end it off here. Charles Wood takes home the win 3-2 to improve to 3-0. River East falls to 2-1. Good night, everybody. Hope to have you tuning in on Sunday. Have a good one.